All right, so now that we're into 2022, of course, there have been a lot of talks around events from these different companies like a Nintendo Direct or a State of Play from PlayStation. Well, there was something that's popped up here today pointing towards Sony preparing a pretty large announcement when it comes to their Game Pass response. It's something that was talked about in a report last month, and it looks like we're going to be hearing about it pretty soon. Guys, if you enjoyed these videos, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave Plus channel, make sure you subscribe down below. So let's head over here. This was posted up by over on GamesBeat. And we can see it says Sony is pulling PlayStation Now retail cards from UK retailers. This seemed to be a memo that went out through the POS system at Game, and it appears that this is happening all across the world in general, with other countries already pulling some of their retail cards. Like the little cards will go in. It'll be like PlayStation Now subscription card. You buy it, and it's like 12 months, and you just kind of scratch it off, put a code in. Well, they say stores have until the close of day, Wednesday 19th for January, to remove all POS and ESD cards from all customer-facing areas and update their digital bays in line with this week's upcoming commercial update. So this, to me, as I'm sure most people are looking to, is pointing towards Sony preparing this update for Project Spartacus. This is supposed to be them rebranding their subscription content service, which is currently PlayStation Now. You go on there, and they have different games they add to it. Similar to Game Pass, they just don't do the day one releases. So, like, when Horizon Forbidden West comes out, that's not going to go to Project Spartacus. At least that's what we believe at this time. Whereas on Microsoft's side with Game Pass, any of their day one releases are just there. So going forward, you see something like Starfield, that's going to be on Game Pass immediately on release. Now, what Sony appears to be doing here with their Project Spartacus, and they'll be renaming it something else with different tiers, they're going to take PlayStation Plus and kind of build out on that. They don't need the PlayStation Now brand. It's something they haven't invested a lot of money into, specifically when it comes to advertising and brand awareness. I'm sure money's gone into securing deals with these different third parties because there are a lot of games on PlayStation Now. It's just not a lot of people know that it's not a streaming service much anymore. Like, you can download a vast majority of the games, minus PS3 titles, because they haven't built out an emulator, at least seemingly one that they're comfortable putting on the PlayStation Now service and allow you to play those games natively. I guess with Project Spartacus, one big surprise would be that they did put together a PlayStation 3 emulator and have integrated it in so that these PS3 titles will be native and not necessarily reliant on the cloud. That'd be incredible, because potentially we could see Metal Gear Solid 4 have some sort of release. It's still stuck on the PS3, and that's pretty frustrating right now, because that's a game that I enjoyed and I would like to go back to on more capable hardware like with the PlayStation 5. And we are expecting an event from Sony here relatively soon. I mean, we expect a lot of these companies like Nintendo, Sony, Microsoft to start talking a bit more as we get into like late January, beginning of February, to start setting up the rest of this year. And with Sony, there have been a lot of talks that their PlayStation VR 2 would be launching later on this year, and that they would be working to establish a pretty good roadmap for releases, especially when it comes to the launch lineup. We assume that Horizon Call of the Mountain will be one of the launch titles, and there could be some other ones there as well. But on top of announcements around PSVR 2, Project Spartacus, that again, we'll see what it's called, would be a pretty massive announcement, because this is a service that would stand next to Game Pass, yes, but provide quite a bit of value, and I think boost up what they had with PlayStation Now to like the next level. Because something I want to see out of PlayStation Now is more like legacy games, stuff from, I guess you'd say, like retro library, like PS1, PS2, and apparently PSP, all making their way to this subscription service with a game library that is maybe $10 a month or something. Again, they're going to have different tiers. We'll see there. But if the library of games that they show up with and then continue to update that with is good, it could be awesome to have this PlayStation Now successor available to us relatively soon. Like, if they announce this with all the information that seemed to be gathered by Bloomberg in February, we'll say, with an early February event, that's something that maybe could be launching a month later, especially if they're already working to remove any of these retail cards for PlayStation Now. It could be something that's not far off at all. And that's an exciting way, I think, to start up 2022 with PlayStation, where they start to talk about some of their older stuff with PS2 and PS1, but then also show some of their more advanced stuff with PlayStation VR 2, all in the same show. And that makes me wonder if this is going to be a state of play or maybe a PlayStation experience event, something a bit larger, because with state of play, expectations are lower, of course, because they don't tend to be this massive gathering of information. Sony will have something else in mind for that, just bigger PlayStation events. So we'll see when they're ready to announce this state of play or PlayStation experience or whatever they want to call it. I'm thinking, though, it's going to be within the next 30 days, and I am looking towards early February for some large event to take place to showcase, I guess, Project Spartacus, some other announcements, maybe release dates, and talk about PSVR 2. But let me know what you guys think about all of this down below, especially with Project Spartacus. What systems and games would you like to see there with their initial launch library? Thanks, guys, for watching, and I'll see you next time.